Thank you very much for that confirmation. Okay, so welcome to this meeting of the local partnership for Erskine, Inchinnan, Bishopton and Langbank. This is obviously an MS Teams meeting, so I'm just going to ask if individuals can just make sure that their mics are on mute when they're not speaking. If you are looking to speak in the meeting to any items of the agenda, if you could use the raise hand feature. If I haven't happened to notice though, please just unmute yourself and give me a shout as we before we move on to the next item, and I'll do my best to facilitate that. Okay. Right, thanks very much. So just moving on to the first item, can I just check if we've got any apologies?
Apologies from Annabelle Walter. Councillor Campbell, unfortunately, she's unable to make it tonight due to a personal reason. So she sends her apologies.
Absolutely, no problem at all. Thank you very much for that confirmation, Stuart. Any declarations of interest or transparency statements in relation to today's agenda? None intimated at this point in time. Okay, so minutes of the previous meeting. Is there any comments or questions in relation to this item? None. Can we agree this item? Agreed. Item 2, the village investment fund guidance. Just going to, I think, is that Kerry, is it yourself that's going to be present on this one?
Councillor Campbell, we won't be able to present on this item tonight. Unfortunately, Annabelle was going to do a verbal presentation. She will have information available once the paper goes through board, and that will be circulated to the members so that you get the information from that as soon as possible.
Yeah. That's fine, as long as we could just have that disseminated via email then, so that all members of the partnership have that information. That'd be great. Thank you very much. Okay. So we'll just move on to, Councillor McLaren.
This is, I've just got a call here from David Woodrow. He's having difficulty accessing the meeting. Can someone send him an email, please, with a link?
Okay, Stuart, can I just ask yourself for Kerry, one of the two, or yeah, could one of you send a link for the meeting to him to see?
I'll send it over just now, Councillor.
Sorry, I should just say someone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So moving on to item 3 is the Erskine, Inchinnan, Bishopton and Langbank local partnership update report. So within item 3, you'll see that there's a recommendation, and this is in order to, because we have an underspend from our partnership area. During the pre-agenda, I'd had a discussion with Kerry and with Annabelle at that point in time in regards to what are we best to do, what is the best way that we can sort of protect that money for the local partnership to have it, because I know that we know that we don't want to lose that money. So you'll see that there is a recommendation of which is at 3.8, which is A, to invite new applications, noting the funding should be spent before the next local partnership award funding meeting for April/May 2025, which as much as that can be there, we know it's highly unlikely that we're going to have anyone who will be able to meet that criteria. And there's the other option, which is also to ring fence the remaining balance for specific purpose to be spent during the 25-26 next financial year, as allocated in part with whatever funding we get for that next meeting, which will be the funding meeting. So I didn't think that this was particularly controversial. I actually felt that, given previous discussions that we've had, that all members would pretty much be in agreement with this. I just want to check that everyone is okay with that before we go ahead agreeing the report. Yes, I'm getting thumbs up from Sam and everyone else at this point in time. So can we agree item 3? Agreed, thank you. So I'm just going back up to the top of my agenda. Item 4 is the appointment of the Vice Chair for Erskine, Inchinnan and Bishopton and Langbank local partnership. So obviously, unfortunately, Neil had to stand down at the latter end of last year because of ill health. So I was just going to put forward a recommendation that Jacqueline Doherty, who's became the chair for the Community Council over in Langbank, 2 reasons. One, she's well versed in obviously what is the priorities for the local area, and it maintains that geographical spread of the chair and the community rep as well. So can I just check if someone would be willing to second my recommendation? Sam Mullen has his hand up for that, if someone can document that. And I'll just check, is there any other nominations in the room? No? Okay, can we agree that Jacqueline Doherty will take the vice chair position for the local partnership area. That is agreed unanimously. I'll just bring in Kerry at this point.
Thanks, Councillor. It's just to highlight that Jacqueline and I have been emailing back and forth. So Jacqueline's going to stay on as the Langbank, I think I've got this right, the Langbank regeneration member and not the Langbank Community Council member. So just to highlight that the Vice Chair will be attached to Jacqueline in her other role and not in the Community Council role. Yes, that's absolutely fine.
I'm happy to be corrected, and that could be made correct in the minutes as well. That's absolutely fine. I do appreciate that there's still a bit of to and fro with that, so that's not a problem at all. That's just a technicality. So congratulations, Jacqueline.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for supporting me in my role as chair, and obviously I'm quite happy to catch up via email and meet with you after meeting at some point, so we can sort of have a discussion. Maybe a reason to meet up for a coffee. Gives me an excuse. Yes. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone. So moving on to item 5, the Renfrew Community Transport presentation.
Councillor Campbell, if I can just come in at that one, if that's all right. So
of
we've
course
been speaking to Scott, who's helping coordinate the activities of the Renfrewshire Community Transport Organisation. We just felt it was possibly just a little bit early for this cycle of meetings. So what we've suggested to Scott is that he attends the next round of local partnership meetings for every local partnership, so that everyone's getting the same information round about the same time. I suppose it was just to give an update to the members of the partnership that the organisation was successful in applying to the Sustainable Communities Fund and was awarded a grant of £25,000, which they are then using to procure a couple of small buses to basically get them up and running. They've carried out some kind of feasibility work. They're now looking to get the buses on the road and actually start doing kind of pilots in some areas. And obviously they'll be keen to come and speak to this partnership to find out what could potentially work in these areas and how we could kind of work together to try and support them going forward with a kind of sustainable business model for them as an organisation. So we'll get them penciled in to come along next time, Chair, if that's all right.
Yes, absolutely. Given that this has been a priority for our area, I think that once again, I think I can summarise on behalf, although people are more than welcome to come in if they want to say otherwise, that this would be incredibly welcome to the local area. This is something that we've all had difficulties for. We've obviously got quite a significant area where it's more rural, and having appropriate services is something that not just in capacity of this meeting, but in obviously council as well. This has been huge interest to elected members as well. I'm going to bring in Councillor McLaren.
Thank you, Michelle. Just to ask the Renfrew Community Transport, what area exactly is it going to cover? Or have they indicated that they are prepared to cover? I mean, are they going to go down to Langbank, where I'm sure it would be much appreciated? Or is it just around about Renfrew? That's one thing. The other thing is, of course, bear in mind that the next meeting we have will probably be the one for the grants, so it'll be quite a busy meeting anyway.
Thanks, Councillor Cullen. In terms of that's just a typo on the agenda. It should be Renfrewshire Community Transport, not Renfrew Community Transport. So it's Renfrewshire wide. Basically, what Scott is kind of trying to coordinate is that kind of feasibility just now in terms of how far and wide where the need is really, and I think they're really keen to go as far as possible in terms of where that need is, and I think Councillor Campbell touched on absolutely spot on. The more rural locations tend to be those who are have not got the same accessibility for transport solutions, so that is going to be an area of focus for them. So whether it's Langbank or other areas, then yes, they'll definitely be interested in taking it out that far.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So obviously that will be an item that will come back, whether it will be at the next meeting, which as you did point out is the funding meeting there, Councillor McLaren, or whether it be at the following meeting after that point, then I will deal with that, and keep in mind people's preferences and the fact that members would like to have the time for that specifically, so that will be kept in mind for agendas. Okay. So there's no one else with their hand raised on this item. We'll move on to item 6, which is the date of the next meeting, which is the 30th of April at 6 p.m. I'm just going to bring in Karen at this point in time.
Hi, Councillor Campbell. It's just to mention that because the Vice Chair resigned from that position and Jacqueline's taken it up, it means that there's a vacancy for a community member now within the partnership. I don't know how you want to figure this with that.
That would sustain, because it was the community council, it will sustain as a community council member. We're waiting on Langbank just coming back to us with sort of confirmation, because obviously that the vacancy came from them, and understand that as being quite obviously a difficult sort of circumstance that vacancy has occurred in. So I would like to just give that community a moment to just be able to sort of sort themselves out, and they'll come back to us. Okay.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much.
Michelle, I can give you a wee update. I did contact Kerry last night with the name of a potential Julie Gilmer, who's in the community council, who would fill in an application in respect of being the community council's representative on the group.
Thank you very much for that update. So there should be communication coming your way thick and fast. So hopefully by the next meeting that will be sorted. Okay. So that is us for tonight. That is the agenda. So thank you everyone for your time, and I will see you at the next meeting on the 30th of April.
Thank you, Chair.
Thanks, Chair.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Okay, thank you. Good night.
Good night.